SUNYPress.com.
Great, thank you very much.
Also,
Go ahead.
you can also get the book at SUNY Press, www.sunypress.edu.
Thank you very much. Wayne McFarlane and jazz.
I'm Al McFarlane. You're listening to Conversations with Al McFarlane, and we want to move to politics. I'm pleased to have a colleague and leader in the political community of Minnesota and the country, the Reverend Randolph Statton, to talk about the upcoming political process. Minneapolis, our state, we're looking at the organizing for the upcoming elections. And sometimes our people end up getting to the table late. And we want to make sure that we start getting to the table early, because politics are important. Politics are particularly important right now in this neighborhood. And so I asked Reverend Statton to join me in creating a discussion. Let's start this discussion in a very public way. And I asked other people in our community who have expressed an interest in serving you in the public arena to also come. First, let me ask Reverend Statton to talk about what's happening in the next few days and why this question of political engagement, political involvement is so important for our people.
Thank you very much, Al. First of all, let me say, because oftentimes we look at what we don't have and what's going wrong, and we need to really affirm what we're doing that's so good. Al, I think that you are to be commended for the continued communication of operating and opening the landscape for ideas and thoughts. I think you're a giant in this community, and for that is concerned, and across the country. And I think we ought to always continue to applaud you for that great effort that you continue to do. The second thing is that I think is important is that so often other people look at us as if we are less than something else as far as politics is concerned. We don't vote, we don't do this. It's a lie. I've said this for I don't know how long, if you remember correctly. And I think that as people look at the record, they're finding out that, in fact, African American people are very aggressive in terms of voting. And when we look at the records, we say that we outvote whites in a whole lot of ways when we look at the comparisons. And if we look at the last election, if we look at the congressional elections and so forth before then, we did a powerful, powerful work. And we also showed that if you give us something to vote for, that we, in fact, will vote. And participated for the politics concern. I believe, Al, that politics is critical. There's a proverb to say that if people who do not control the politics of their own community are people who are in shame and disgrace. And I believe that that is so absolutely true. We get caught into this little kind of ridiculous thing. Well, I don't get involved in politics. You lost your mind. If you don't believe that you get involved in politics. Politics control everything that we do. What you eat, where you sleep, where you live, how your children are educated, the kind of air you breathe, everything that we do, who keeps our children. All of these are decisions that are made by politics, and all of us must be intimately involved in the politics as far as our community is concerned. Leading up to now, we have elections coming up. There ought not ever be an election in which we don't have candidates who prepared in advance to run for office, whether it's the library board, the park board, the school board, the city council, the legislature, the House and the Senate, mayor, governor. There ought not ever be an opportunity by which we don't make sure that folk understand that our handprint is upon it. We have elections coming up now as far as the city council is concerned. We have elections coming up now as far as the mayor is concerned. And we have elections coming up now as far as the governor is concerned. Let me be real frank. Al, before I just move this thing up, we ought to be actively and aggressively saying that, in fact, as far as the city council is concerned, it has done anything but what it ought to do in terms of representing us as a community, and that, in fact, what we ought to be able to do is to say, we're going to use the method that we have to change that. And that's what elections and so forth are all about. I think as far as the city is concerned and the mayor's race, we ought to have a lot of aggressive things to say, because if you look at all the barometers, as far as the city of Minneapolis is concerned, and then I'll get to St. Paul some other time, but right now, as the city of Minneapolis is concerned, we ought to be asking some real questions about who wants to be re-elected as far as mayor is concerned, and how in the world can you talk about re-elected if in fact you don't deal with the kind of things that from economic development, one of the worst records in the country in terms of enfranchising us and employing us. How can you now say you're going to be mayor? And there are other areas like that. How can you say you want to be governor? Okay, we need to make sure that our agenda is on the table, and that as we look at the city council, I'm happy to say that there are some individuals who are interested in running, and I'm excited about hearing from them.
And we're going to meet then Reverend Stetson. Just a second, we'll do a station business here and come back and continue the conversation about politics in our community. I'm Al McFarlane. You're listening to Conversations with Al McFarlane, broadcasting live from the wonderful North Side offices of the Minneapolis Urban League. You know, the Minneapolis Urban League is the thought center. It's the political power center for our community. So we're pleased to be in this venue. This is where the action is. Reverend Stetson, you want to make one more comment before I introduce the other people here who are, I want to introduce them to you as potential candidates for Fifth Ward.
Just one other comment, and just because it's, to me, it's so disgusting that I thought it was important. Politics also control who gets incarcerated and who don't get incarcerated, and how the court system works. I looked at the paper this morning and I saw a Judge Marley who sentenced Carl Eller. And what he said is, we're going to make an example of you because you dared say that the courts and the police were racist or biased in their dealing with you. We're going to deviate even from what the prosecutor want to do, and we're going to make sure you go to jail just because you dared say that this system was racist and that it was prejudiced. There's a danger in that. The danger in that is that, in fact, all of us know, from profiling all across the line, all of us know if you look at the system, all of us know if you look at the arrest records and conviction records and so forth, that the system is racist. All of us know that every day we experience the kind of thing in terms of inappropriate, crazy treatment by the police and by the courts. And that somehow or another, if judges decide to make decisions that they're going to punish you for telling the truth, a system that's already wreaking havoc is going to increase that traffic.
Let me bring some new voices in. Kevin Lacey is a colleague, a friend, a business owner in North Minneapolis, and he's expressed an interest. He hasn't declared, to my knowledge, but expressed an interest in possibly seeking election to the Fifth Ward, this neighborhood of City Council. Kevin, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Al.
And so where does the interest come from, and where are you at this moment? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking about economics. When you look right here, north side, it's downtown Minneapolis, and we have no businesses. Plymouth Avenue, there's nothing on Plymouth Avenue now. The university's coming up off the shopping center. Inside the forum started at inside or at Lucille's Kitchen. That's why we want to welcome you back to the community. And so there's no, all of our money leaves the community and it goes out. Where do we shop at? There's a Cub. Where do you buy clothes at? You gotta go to Brooklyn Park, Crystal, everywhere else. We need to work on the economics and keep the money in the community and work on that. And that's my thing is we need to work on our economic, that 3 terms around the community before it leaves. And we get zoned out.